Good morning, everyone. I know it's been probably over a week since I've put a video out, and standing here with a couple of these turkeys, I thought I would tell you why. If you remember back a couple videos, this shelter had got blown over backwards, and we kept trying to think of a way we could hook the truck to it and pull it to stand it upright. Well, we couldn't come up with a way. And Matilda here, our black Spanish hen, decided to start laying her eggs. Well, in doing so, she also decided to do it far away from here. She went around the cotton field and into the woods, and one day we followed her to find out where she was going to lay her eggs. And we got all the way to the woods down there and she lost us. We could not find her anywhere. So we came back. She came back about 20 minutes later. The very next day, we followed her again. This time we had a plan. We knew where she went into the woods. So before she left, Eddie went down there on the lawnmower. He rode down there right quick, and he stood where she was going into the woods, and then I followed her down to make sure she went the same way. So we did end up following her in and finding her nest, which was a long ways into the woods. I mean, it amazes me that she went that far to find a place to lay her eggs. But anyway, so we found her, and we collected her and her eggs and brought her back, and knew that we needed to lock her up because being that far out in the woods, she was in danger from a lot of predators. So we put her into this cage, which is where we used to have the peacocks, but they needed the shelter. I guess they didn't need it because my peacocks don't have any shelter, but I wanted the shelter back up, and we couldn't find a way to do it with the truck. So Eddie, Ocean, and I grabbed a hold of it and lifted it up. That is very, very heavy. It took all we had, the three of us, to pick that up and stand it back upright. Well, any of you with a bad back knows that doing something like that can lay you up for a while, and that's exactly what happened. I hurt my back pretty bad lifting that, and so I've been laid up for the past week. I can't get Eddie to handle the camera, and Ocean's never around, but so when I'm laid up, videos can't get made. But I'm back. I'm still sore. I can't walk very far right now. It's really, really painful, but I'm back. We need to get some stuff done, and I wanted to bring you guys along. But let's take a look at Matilda's nest. So I piled up a bunch of sticks here. When I first brought her back, she just laid over there in the dirt. She laid an egg over there. And I piled up some branches and a bunch of leaves and stuff. And so she's been laying her eggs in there. She's got 6 eggs in there. So, what a pretty boy. Oh, I just love turkeys. They're so funny. But at the same time, they're a pain in the butt because, you know, they always want to leave. And now Miss Brown, our other turkey, she also has decided to leave and lay her eggs elsewhere. But I do know where her nest is. It is just down in the driveway, and we will get her moved soon. Check out what I just saw. Check it out, check it out. These are our apple trees. We moved down here this winter. We've got that one there and one right there. And they're leafing out, so that's exciting. We're gonna, every time we move a tree or plant a tree, I'm worried that it's gonna die. But it's leafing out, so it must not have died yet. so that's good. Okay, a couple of things I want to show you today that we have done. On the breeding the rabbit situation, we have not been able to try again because this little buddy, hey Casper, where are you, buddy? Casper had some ear mites really badly, and we didn't notice it until his ears were really crusted. So we took him to the vet, and she gave me this liquid that you pour on his back between his shoulder blades, and that was like a month and a half ago. He went back for a 1-month checkup and he still had ear mites. And that treatment that she gave me, it's a 3-month treatment, so we've put it on twice already. He doesn't seem to be shaking his head much anymore, but I'll tell you what I did. I noticed the does were shaking their heads a little bit, so we went and got some ivermectin for cattle, and we treated them with ivermectin, and I think that was the way to go originally because it worked in them so much faster. Of course, theirs wasn't as bad, but... And here, we've got some more trees. We planted our fig trees down here, and they're budding out nicely. We have this one here, and then that roll of wire right there is protecting another one. So this is what we call Barnyard A right here. So Barnyard A right here has the 2 fig trees, and then over on that side we call that Barnyard B, and that has the 2 apple trees. And then I was planting my tomatoes in the garden, and I started way too many tomato seeds. I mean, I'm not the only one, right? Don't we all start too many just in case you need more? But I didn't want to just pull them up and throw them on the ground. I felt like I was wasting food if I didn't try to grow them. So I came over here in the corner of Barnyard A, and I don't know that they'll survive, but I planted a bunch of tomato seedlings right here along this fence in this corner. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I've got 11 seedlings right here. And you can't really see them because they're only like 5 inches tall. But I'm hoping they'll do well down here and grow up on that fence. And I don't know what kind they are because they were like leftovers. So, okay, something that we started to work on yesterday. Well, I sat and supervised, but we're going to build a barn right here. So I don't know if you can see it, but we laid out some string here. We've squared it all up, and we've got some stakes where the posts need to go, but 2 of these stakes actually need to come out. I need to take out this one, and I need to take out this one right here. So there's no blueprint for this. I designed this, and so it's sort of a piece by piece thing. I don't have like the final picture in my head of where all the lumber needs to go, but I have the final picture of what it's going to look like. So so down here, this will be the end of the barn here. There'll be a door here, and we've got door posts. There'll be 4x4s planted in the ground here because it's going to be like a hallway right here with doors into the pens. These pens are only going to be 6 feet wide, but they have 7 feet inside the barn, and then there'll be at least 3 feet outside of the barn. They'll be fenced in. So That should give them 10 feet of space, and this is per breed of bird. The plan was to get 3 pens done to begin with so that we can put in turkeys and then chickens and then turkeys. We can't put the turkeys next to each other because they fight through the fence. Good morning, Miss Brown. How are we today, huh? You can see she has a bloody snood because her and Matilda were fighting quite a while ago. It just hasn't healed yet. The turkeys during breeding season, oh my goodness, they just fight and fight and fight. It's so annoying because they get all bloody and you're worried about them and you're worried they're gonna kill each other, and yeah, it's not fun. Okay, well, let me finish up my chores out here, and then I have a couple other things to show you. I have never seen Fergie move that fast before. We also picked up 3 of these nest boxes. Ow, somebody's pecking on me. We picked up 3 of these nest boxes. I found them on Facebook. They're $50 a piece, and the guy has tons of them. So if you look on Facebook, of course, if you're in southern Alabama, I guess. But yeah, pretty neat. And once the barn is done, we will be hanging those, ow, in the pens. These little girls are pecking at me. They're not being mean. I have a hole in the knee of my pants and they're pecking at it, but they're getting skin at the same time. This guy is really pretty. You're a pretty boy. He's a whiting true green. Once we get all the barn done, you guys will go in your own pens. Another thing that we have done is we've ordered the metal from a shop. We're going with ash gray, and we've put up 3 pieces because we wanted to try it out and see what we thought of the color before we ordered it all. So we bought just the 3 pieces originally and put those up to look at it and see, and we like it. That's what's going on with my shop. Not a whole lot. It's difficult to get all these different projects done and all the work done when there's just 2 of you and you're not in your prime anymore. I'll be 50 next month and Eddie is 67, so it takes us a little longer to get projects done than what it did when we were in our 30s, that's for sure. Okay, in the quail house here, we have baby quails. I just cover the front of this with a blanket at night so that they don't get cold. They're only a few days old. Well, maybe a week old, I don't know. They're all doing good. We only lost 1 so far. And it was one that its toes, its feet were all curled in, and I knew. I should have just culled it, but and then we have Matilda's eggs. The original eggs that we picked up from Matilda, we actually put in the incubator. I don't know what I said earlier, I don't remember. We brought her eggs back and we put them in the incubator, and then she started to lay the new eggs down there. And when she had laid that first egg in the dirt, I just moved it over into that nesting site that I made. So yeah, her first 6 eggs are in the incubator. They are going to be a crossbreed because we haven't separated her from Ferguson yet, so they are a cross again between the black Spanish and the white, whatever they are. I can never remember what the white breed is. It's a white one. How black and white? So anyways, let me feed all the quail up and we'll go from there. These girls have gotten so big. I don't remember when we bought them. they are growing so much faster than those last 2 pigs that we had. I'm guessing these girls are going to be ready to butcher probably by June. One of the other projects that we were going to do with some of that lumber that we milled, which is right there, is right here. We're going to build us a 3-bay compost system. Ocean started to dig holes for us so that we could put the corner posts in, or all the posts in, but he gets busy working for the neighbors, and I've told him over and over to finish digging these holes, and he hasn't. So that's why we have not started to build the compost pile, which we need to do, because all of this and all of this needs to go in the compost pile. I clean out the quail trays every couple of days, and all of that needs to be dumped into a pile, and so we really need to get that compost bin done. In the morning it takes me about an hour, I guess, to go around and do all these chores and take care of everything. But here we have the garden. Oh, I love the garden. So Eddie got this all tilled up. This will be corn. We're gonna put in some pinto beans in the front, and that'll be all corn, except for we're gonna try putting some pumpkins and melons in here to hopefully vine in through the corn and shade out the ground. So here's a little greenhouse we built, and it has held up nicely. We've had a couple of big storms that I was really worried that it would tear the plastic, but it has held up very nicely. Here's a pepper plant I picked up at the store yesterday because I realized that I didn't grow any hot peppers, and I wanted to try to make a really hot sauce this year instead of just the Tabasco sauce. So I got Red Ghost hot pepper. Supposedly it's one of the hottest peppers in the world, but if we get any peppers off of that, I'm just going to try to make some hot sauce, wearing gloves when I do so. Except all of my potatoes, my potato rows are still empty because I still have not received my potatoes in the mail, and I will never order from that company again. But these are the russets that we planted from the grocery store, and they are looking wonderful. Uh-oh, that one's got some yellow on it. They look good to me anyway. Getting very big. Uh-oh, that one looks kind of funky, don't it? Yeah, it needs some fertilizer or something. Okay. So, in the garden here, we have reset our cattle panels. I had them going like this one so that it was going into the middle of the bed and I could plant on both sides of it. I decided I didn't like that idea. These are peas, by the way, and those are some beans. But we decided to reset the panels. So all of these panels, do you see those birds? I wish I could zoom in. I've got 2 birds sitting on the panel down there. They look like they're fighting. Anyway, so we reset the panels, so now they're up against this inside edge. It makes the archway taller, and the plan now is that on the outside here, so as you can see, I've planted my tomatoes out in here. So the tomatoes will grow up along the fence, and I'm hoping you can just go from the inside and harvest. And then we have all this room on the outside of the bed where we could put some herbs or flowers or whatever we want to put in there with them. So I've got tomatoes planted in all of these. I couldn't tell you what kind they are though. Let's see, we have Jersey Devil, then we have beefsteak, and then we have more beefsteak. And then we have San Marzano. Nope, I missed one. Oh well. But other than that, not much has changed up here. We got the beds weeded. We got the straw down. Planted just a couple of things. The tomatoes and the beans. These beans are coming up nicely. These are bush beans, so they don't need a trellis. The strawberries are doing nicely if we can keep the mice out of them. There's some pretty big berries on there. We did start laying out for a concrete bed here. We just laid them down to count how many we need, because we've decided to go with one long bed, the same length as what we have now. Right now we have 4 beds butted up against each other, so you have wasted space in the middle where the 2 beds come together, and I can't put cattle panel there. So when we do the concrete block beds, we're just going to make it one whole bed to be the same as that there. So we were just laying it out to count how many bricks we need. We need to pick up 40 more to finish this bed. And I think the plan is, once we get this bed built, we're going to take all the dirt from these 4 beds right here and move it into there. And then we'll get more block to build this bed. I would like to get the entire garden switched over to blocks, because it is very wet here and the wood does rot very quickly. Okay, so the other thing we did up here was we planted a new tree. I love planting trees. I love to see them grow. This one, it is budding at the same time that it has, well, that doesn't even belong on there. It's got some dead leaves from when I first bought it, but it is budding out. It's got new leaves coming on, so I'm not too worried. But this is a sweet southern cherry. If it's still alive next spring, then we're gonna put another one in. That's all there is to it, because I want all the fruit possible. I want to get some banana trees too. Someday. I want all the foods that we eat to be available right here on our place, except for onions, because I'm so tired of onions. I weeded these onions. I planted these onions many, many months ago, and they're like that big. I know it's my fault, because I put them in the ground that I hadn't added compost and stuff to, so they're starving, and I just don't have that energy right now to deal with that. There's so many projects going on right now that we really would like to get done. So coming up in the next videos will be the compost bin, the barn, finishing off the shop, and who knows what else. Let's open this up. Yep. Their thermometer in there says they're 77. I really don't think they are, because they're not under the heat plate. After that last clip that you just saw, Eddie and I ran to town and we bought an auger. We decided that we can't wait for Ocean to dig holes for us anymore, and we're going to need a lot of holes dug for that barn. So we got this auger, and we're going to finish digging these holes for the compost and start building the bin. It's just some 4x4s with some offcuts from the mill nailed around it to hold the stuff in. So hopefully we're going to start and finish this project today.
All the way down.
Oh, you think I can fit through there? You're nuts. Well, we got 2 bays done out of the 3 that we wanted, but we didn't have another 4x4 for this end down here, so we can add those 2 posts later. For now, we have 2 bays done, which is plenty to get started. I think the boys did a great job. We got quite a few gaps, but that's okay. That'll just let some air in. These are all off-cut, so they're not straight. And they're definitely not the same width from end to end. So I think the boys did a great job. We will cut off the top of the posts, but we need to buy another chainsaw chain because ours has stretched past the point of being able to tighten it. So now we just have to fill that up with all the quail poop and let it start decomposing. Well guys, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.